This is my dad. And I wanted to give him a fun birthday gift of road tripping an old car to somewhere we had never been before. Now, I wasn't sure how to sort this one out, so I got in touch with my good friends over at Moparts 5150 to see if they had any ideas on how to make this trip for my dad special. Sure enough, the lease at their Georgia location was ending, and they needed to get all of their cars out pretty quickly to move to one of their other locations, one being in California and the other in Texas. Now, the owner of 5150, Troy, he sent me this video showing off this dusty but rather nice 1969 Barracuda.
She is a mod top Barracuda. Unfortunately missing the mod top. It's got a black one, so expensive, people don't tend to put them back on. Plus, they were kind of frowned upon in the beginning, I think, a lot of them. So now to me, they're desirable, super desirable. But very complete car. Should be a nice driver to get cross country as you're planning to do.
It's basically in the same untouched condition as it was when they picked it up a couple years prior, and it made for the perfect candidate to fix up and drive. So we loaded up with truck and trailer, and we headed on down to Georgia. So again, the goal of this video is to make a road trip for my dad. Now we're going to be going to Celeste, Texas. It's a 650-mile road trip. This is part one, where we're getting the car ready, and part two will be the actual trip itself. So what's in Texas? Well, Moparts 5150 has a dealership. It's called American Steel Classics, and they're putting on a car show for everybody to attend. It's free entry for cars, free entry for spectators. You won't want to miss this because they've got some incredibly rare and awesome cars, and not just Mopars. They've got a little bit of everything for everybody. So if you want to meet us, it's May 31st in Celeste, Texas. You need to come out and see this show and come hang out with us. See the car in person. Meet me, meet Briar, meet my dad. And at the same time, we'll be tracking this road trip through the Glimpse app. The link is in the description below, so check that. Friday, May 30th, early morning hours, we're going to start our road trip. You can track us along and see exactly where our route is and maybe team up with us if you'd like. Now let's get to the video.
I am here at Moparts 5150 in Georgia. Today, they are moving a lot of stuff. They lost their lease and they have to move a bunch of cars back to California. Sure enough, they've got a car that needs moving with my name on it. Now you can see around here, we've got a bunch of rare stuff. We've got legit RT cars lined up everywhere. Chargers, I mean, as far as the eye can see, they're constantly just, everywhere you step, there's another Charger. But I'm not here for a Charger today. I'm here for a car that's a little bit different. The car that I'm here for is this nice little Barracuda just tucked away in the back corner. But it's not just any Barracuda. It is a real mod top. The mod top's long gone, but it is an original mod top. It's been off the road for quite some time, but it's a very complete car. As you can see inside, it is absolutely immaculate. I think Dad's gonna like this one to be a road trip car candidate. I haven't told him about it yet, but I think he's gonna love it. She's a neat little car. Under the hood, we've got what I believe to be a 318, and again, it's all there. The last time this car was registered appears to be 1998 out of New Jersey. So it's been off the road for quite some time, but it was a part of the Plymouth Owners Club, so of course it's a good car. And the cool thing is that Troy from Moparts 5150 is giving me the keys to let my dad have a good road trip for his birthday. So right now we have a long line of vehicles we got to move just to get to this one. We've got this 70 Charger right in front, and then we've got the 70 Cornet RT, and then we've got the 70 446 pack 4-speed, and then we've got the Rum Runner up there, the 67 Cornet 500, I believe, that Richard Rawlings just bought. So a lot of very interesting and unique Mopars. These guys even move cars for you. Of the cars that are here, this one's my favorite, the 70 RT 446 pack 4-speed. And they told me I could drive it out. They said the keys are in it. You guys have made a big mistake. good. Do you want to go back a little bit?
We're gonna drop it off. Let's get you and down some more wax. That's good. Whatever.
Good.
We're not.
Yeah, we're just gonna do service. I think it's pretty much ready to go. I think just service and wash.
You know, when you do something, you got it, boss.
Car is up on the trailer, we're strapped down, and we are ready to head back to Tennessee where we can get this old girl back on the road where she deserves. Man, I can't wait. This is a beautiful, beautiful car. We're about an hour away. We're about to hit Mont Eagle, and sure enough, it is snowing, guys. It is cold. I'm so ready to get this car home and start working on it. We're getting there, guys. Whew, frigid. You like it?
It's cool.
Feel how comfortable they are.
Oh yeah.
So it's an original mod top, and somebody put the vinyl top on it.
It's nothing like the flowers did.
No, I told him what's gonna happen is we're gonna get halfway across the country, and you and me are gonna fall in love with it, and then we're gonna turn around and come back.
If I buy it, I'm gonna have to go live with you.
Got the rally gauges. I mean, it's
is
got a lot of good options.
As far as A-body goes, this is a nice little car.
In 318, 2-barrel automatic, 7 1/4. I mean, it's got everything to make it a decent driver.
I wouldn't do nothing to it, just keep it all original.
Yeah,
Smooth little car.
we got a lot to do.
Look at the door panels.
Yeah,
Man, look at it, the yellow and black in the door
it's like
panels.
a cream color with black.
Look at all the chrome and stainless on the on the console.
Oh, still real pretty.
Yeah, 70 model too. Just got a big plastic
Yeah.
console.
So first thing off the bat I noticed is that we got a brake line cut here. This brake line's been removed, so I'll have to fix that. No shocks. It's got one front shock. The rears are unbolted. I noticed that a drum was missing on the right rear. They had some brake issues. I would imagine.
Wow, look at that finish panel.
Yeah. Oh, look, here's some trim. There's the drum I was looking for. Got a visor. I guess that's the headlight surrounds. I was wondering where those might have been. It was missing that. Vent doors. Oh, these are for the reverse lights, I think. So everything's in the trunk. Oh. This is the proportioning valve in the bag. Does that mean that it's completely gone under the hood? No, it's there.
Somebody tried to change it to disc brakes.
That's what I'm guessing. Yeah, they were going to put disc brakes on the front, and they never did. I wonder if it's been painted. I don't know if it's original paint or if it's been put back together. Clean as a whistle. No rust in the floors. I mean, it's just a very nice original car.
Make it better.
How long do you think that radiator is going to last? I vote we take this one out, and then we take my 22-inch core aluminum one. Just stick it in the car. Well, it's been a few months since you've seen this car. It's been parked in the back. It's a few videos. If you haven't seen it, it's actually probably been closer to a year at this point, Brian. It's kind of sad. This is the first time I've actually ever messed with this car. I've looked around it a little bit, but I've never really dove into what I've seen here. I have noticed what we have to do to it. There's a lot of stuff under the hood that has to be done, but I just wanted to get a little motivation to work on it by seeing if it would start. So I'm going to hook up the battery cables here. No explosions. Looks like we've got new battery cables, a lot of new hoses here, new plug wires, probably new spark plugs. Somebody along the way, I think it was before 5150 got it, it was restored. So they did a really good job. I mean, we got soft hoses, we've got a lot of good stuff under the hood. Looks like the master cylinder had been replaced at one point, except now, as you can see, the brake line had been removed, and then this one got probably broken, I imagine, because it's not a clean cut. So the brakes are probably the #1 issue on this car that I can tell. When we pop the trunk, there's a ton of brake parts in it. Actually, we found
the rod inside like the master cylinder, all the guts got ripped out of it. I hope it's not this master cylinder. Really hope it's not, but it could be. So we'll probably have to replace all of it anyway. The transmission lines have been broken. They probably just cut them so they could pull the radiator. So both of those, we're gonna have to loop those to start it. Looks like somebody had been doing a little bit of hackery trying to make it run because we've got a jumper wire that is on the hot side of the coil. So they probably had it. Yep, it's hot. So they probably had it over here trying to make this thing start. And then, this over here, there is a fuel hose coming out of the bumper because they were trying to make it run. What do you say we put some fuel to it and put some fire and try to crank it? Got to go over to our Rogo cabinet here. Let me get some 5/16 line. We're just going to take this and loop both of those cooler lines together because if we started it right now, that sucker's going to puke transmission fluid all over the floor. And we don't need that. So there you go. Nice little Yui. Looks like they twisted these off and broke them. They just stabbed me. I'm going to try and get a good clean break. We're going to replace these anyway, but still just helps to have this where I can move it around without puking fluid everywhere every time I start it. Heck, it might not even have any fluid. That's kind of scary to think about. There we go. Nice break. Now, go and cut you, loop it around, and the hose right there. 2 hose clamps, and now we can hit the highway. So we were about to pour gas into this thing, and I leaned over across the front of the car, and I noticed that it was rolling. But listen, hear that? That click, 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 click. This thing's not in park, but on the shifter, it's in park. What that tells me is the reason this thing even got hot wired was the neutral safety switch did not show it in park or neutral. So what I'm going to try to do is see if I can put it in neutral instead, and then we'll just have to adjust the shifter when we get it up on the lift. But for now, oh look, dome light. Check that out. That's pretty cool. How about a horn? No, no horn. Any lights? Oh yeah, we got lights. The light switch is moving in the dash. Feels like neutral. Let's turn the key and see if anything happens. Which I mean, based on everything else, I don't see why it wouldn't, you know?
Whoa!
Whoa!
AC!
The heater. What the? Oh my Lord, it's got a rear defrost, look. And it works. Whoa! That's cool. But how do I turn it off? It's set to off.
Uh-huh.
Oh! Rear air. Oh, nice. Okay. Wow, I've never seen that before. That's really cool. Let's crank it. Oh, yeah. It's got good compression, all the good stuff. I'm just going to try and see if it's got any kind of spark before we get too crazy. We've got our jug. We'll pour a little gas down here. All over the place. I ain't filling that bowl up. There's no chance. Oh. 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 Why was it idle up so high? Oh, the choke is on. Hold on. Hold on. Look at the fast idle set. There we go. Now let's try it. It just ran, Briar. Wow. What was that?
Back bar.
Oh. A little more gas. I bet money that's what the problem was. That entire time, this thing was not in park, so it couldn't run. I'll get out if it runs and I'll turn it off. It will. It hasn't picked up any fuel yet, but it will. That is a strange sound. About all of it. That's a lot, actually. Is it only running when I have the key on? No. Why does it sound like that? Let's kind of diagnose some things here before I break anything. The pump may be dead. I assumed that hose was going to the pump. I don't even know. Little gas leaking over here, so it could be a bad gasket too. Or it could have been me. Or that filter from 1902. That was the best one we got. Well, I think we're having a fueling issue at this point. but we know that it runs, and we know that everything's there to do good things, I hope. Tell you what, just for the fun of it, just to make sure that it's not anything related to the ignition, we'll hook this up because it's going right to the hot side of the coil because of the key or a ballast or something. But now we know we have 12 volts directly to the coil, and it should stay running. The brake pedal's just swinging. Okay, all right, yep, she's a little angry. I wonder if turn signals work. I hear something. Well, that's for somebody else to deal with. Look at the hood. It's got turn signals mounted in the hood. So we've got hazards in the front, so we might have a bad flasher, but at least the wiring is good. But maybe we could have bad bulbs. I don't know. So there's nothing back here. Also a good start. We know it runs. We know that there's some lights that happen. Well, we've got reason to believe that our fuel pump may be the culprit here because it would run when you pour gas down the carburetor and then it would shut off. So we've hooked up an electric pump just to test things out. I'm going to dump this over here into our fuel jug. I reckon it's holding. Yeah, see any fuel comes out. I didn't hear anything. What happened?
The pump works, it's shooting gas out of the filter.
Oh, so it does work? Okay. Well, maybe the car's just old. Wow. Little dang, is it picking up any oil? Very clattery. Very clattery. It's showing oil pressure though. Yeah, it built up oil pressure. It was right dead center of the gauge, but ooh, yeah, that was what was in the fuel pump, which is also probably inside the carburetor too, because we were running it. We got a little bit of an accelerator pump. That was really clattery. Let's see if I can see down in there. Is it baffled? Yeah. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to pull the valve covers off and check some things. It just acts like it doesn't have oil in it. We did check it. It was full. I'll check it again. Right on the full mark. And it really doesn't look that bad. Just for my sanity, I wanted to look at it again. Dead on the full mark. We'll fire it up again and let it just kind of warm up a little bit. It doesn't have any coolant in it, so we'll add a little coolant to it. But we're not going to run it very long. Just long enough to kind of see how things are going. Because that right there already kind of worries me, because that brown stuff that doesn't look good at all. I'm gonna have to pull the valve covers off and check the rocker arms and make sure that they're not collapsed or a lifter's broken or something wrong is happening. I mean, it idles fairly smooth. It's running good right now, but for some reason it's just clattering like crazy. And it doesn't sound like the bottom end. It sounds like top end to me, but I don't want to get too far and hurt something and, have a problem. But the oil pressure gauge came right up to the middle every time we fire it up, so it's got good oil pressure. It's actually at 3/4 of the gauge now, so it's got plenty of oil pressure, but I guess we might have a bent push rod, a rocker arm blown through. We're just letting the fuel run out of it now. It's idling fairly decent, but it clatters and there's no accelerator pump diaphragm, of course. Never is. It's a little blew out the exhaust pipe, but could be a ring or two that's just not sealing properly. It's gonna be okay. I mean, it's idling really nicely though. Surprisingly well. Like, this is a really, really good car for what it is. Why is it still running? Golly. How much fuel was in there? See, listen to it clatter.
no diaphragm. Oh, there it goes. Now she's empty. It runs. Now we just gotta fix literally everything on the car. Briar's currently pulling the valve cover off on that side because it sounded like it was coming from over there. You said those were finger tight?
One of them was. The others I barely had to
Ooh,
break.
hot. Wow.
Man, mine ain't even hot.
Why is this side so dang hot then? I love these kinds of cars. No air, no power brakes. Really simple to see everything. So I guess if you are gonna road trip a car across the country, this one's probably the one to do it in. As far as like dead reliability. This is where you cut to the part where we're on the side of the road stranded. Ooh, not the best looking inside. Looks like somebody didn't change the oil for a while. Or it's got that Quaker state, whatever stuff y'all like to talk about. That one's tight. Tight, tight, tight. That one's good.
Ooh, we got a loosey-goosey right here.
Uh-oh. I don't see anything punched through. They're all moving. Ran out of gas. I don't know. I'm not seeing anything jumping out at me that's like, oh, this is a problem. Now, I will say this. There was one time where I had the same thing happen and I had a broken rocker shaft, and that was what the noise was. So we could just pull these off just to check everything and make sure that they're okay. Nothing's standing out to me. Let me pull some push rods, just make sure none of them are bent. Woo, that's hot. Wow, wow, wow. Hot, 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 hot. Okay, hot push rods. None of them are bent. I hope we don't have a collapsed lifter. Briar, what if we have a collapsed lifter? What do we do?
Quit.
I wish it were that easy. I'm not seeing anything really. No pieces, no broken spots. I'm confused. I guess let's check the other side, make sure it's not coming from over there. It sounds just like it's over here, but we'll do it just to be safe. There's a chance that maybe a lifter, is not pumping up all the way. It seemed like they all were, but maybe it's just not building up enough pressure to quit rattling, and that could be the problem. I don't see how, but I don't know. You never know. So we're gonna pull this side off just to be safe. Let's check these in the light. No holes. I'm really just hoping that one's bent at this point. That would make me feel so much better to know. Nothing's sticking out to me. Well, this one's baffling me today. Maybe we just, like we said, we got a lifter that's not wanting to pump up all the way because it hadn't ran in 84 forevers. I'm gonna take my Rogo brake parts cleaner here and just try and clean this all up and see if that helps anything. It's oiling fine. I mean, I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. This is the one that I think is the problem side. I'm just gonna do a really good inspection of everything. I have seen and heard of them pushing through the rockers. I don't think that's the case on this one. My next guess is if we do have a collapsed lifter, we can at least go through here, drop all these push rods back in, check them, fire it back up, and see if we can see everything moving properly. They are moving properly, but maybe there's just something that's really sloppy for some reason. Got all these tightened down. We're going to torque them down real fast. Spilled a little bit of oil, so she's a little smoky right now, but a couple push rods that are a little looser than the others, like this one back here is a little loose, and I say pretty loose when I say that, so it's fairly loose back here. Just in comparison to the others, this one right here, but whatever it is, it's just not jiving. Oh, shoot.
I knew that.
I didn't know that. I didn't even see that.
I shook it earlier.
Briar was filling it up with coolant. The thermostat housing is, well, doing that. So it's not even tight. I'm glad you noticed that because I definitely did not. What are the odds of it tightening up though and actually not leaking is the real question. I would say -4.
7.
7? Well, that's a little more positive than mine.
That's tight right there.
That's it. That's all she's got?
Well, I don't.
Does it even have a gasket? Or a thermostat for that matter?
It's got a gasket. I don't know what the thermostat. That's bad. Leaking from the lower hose too.
Oh, is it really? You know what? Maybe. Oh, yeah, because I did say that, didn't I? I forgot. The lower hose clamp was off, and I completely forgot. Maybe we should just wait to put coolant in it, you think? Let's fix all the leaks in it when it's not scalding hot.
No thermostat.
Well, Briar was looking down at the lower hose to try and put the clamp on, and that's not the problem. It's actually leaking where the core meets the tank. So we've got bigger problems than we thought originally. Seems like the more we mess with it, the more problems we have.
Maybe we should stop.
Well, we've taken the time to unbolt the intake and everything that's associated with it. We're just going to pull it out of here and just to see, is the cam the problem here? Hoping not, but it very well could be. Maybe a lifter collapsed or something, but we just can't really tell what's going on without going further. Well, it's on there, that's for sure. All the bolts, man, are brutal to get off here. Somebody torqued them down to double the spec, seemed like. Oh, there we go. There we go. Woo! For a 2-barrel, it's really heavy. I mean, it's been a little warm. I don't see any excessive wear. Oh, I'm not seeing anything crazy just yet. It's gotten hot. I mean, there's some pretty heavy wear spots. Well, folks, this has gotten serious. As you can see, the engine is, well, it's torn down. We have this rattle that we cannot find. It won't go away no matter what. We've spun it over, we've checked everything. I don't think it's a valve. I have pulled every single rocker, every push rod, every lifter, checked the cam lobes. What I do think is the problem is these lifters. Let me show you why. Take a look here with me. This is one of the original lifters. This is a new lifter. Watch what happens when I push both of them down. Here's the old one. Here's the new one. Hopefully you can see that, but there is movement in this one, and there's no movement in this one. These are both hydraulic lifters, meaning there's oil that cushions the movement of the push rod as the lifter goes up and down. So this makes up to where you don't have to adjust it because this little cushion here will take all the adjustability out of it. So it can move up and down as it needs to. But if it can't, the push rod, the lifter, the rocker arm, it's all gonna rattle. So if you take all this slack out of it, it's gonna be basically like a solid lifter. And this is one of the worst ones we found because there's a couple of them that are like this. So could this lifter come back around? Possibly, but there's a chance that it won't. And since we've already got it torn down, I talked to Mopar's 5150. They said, go ahead and replace it. So we're gonna take and put a new cam and brand new lifters in it and just have that assurance that we know it's not gonna be a problem anymore. This radiator has to come out and it's broken and leaking anyway out of the core. So we can replace it altogether. So it worked out perfect, we gotta do it anyway. Oh, the whole side of the tank just fell off with the mounting bracket. There we go. Yeah, it's got a giant hole in the core. That's not gonna be doing anything. It's a tiny radiator anyway, so we don't need it. I will say doing a cam swap on a car like this is really nice because there's not a whole lot of stuff in the way. I've done a lot worse with a lot less, I'll tell you that much. I don't know if this boat prop of a fan was gonna do much anyway, but the funny thing is, it is all original. It had to work for a little while at least. There we go. Out of it, wow. 400 blade fan. I'm gonna stick all these bolts back in the spots that they came out of. So that way when it comes down to put it all back together, it's not as hard to find it. At least the engine had some coolant in it, but let me tell you, that radiator wasn't doing much. There we go. Now we're cooking. Yeah. Get that out of here. A little more coolant. There we go. Fuel pump eccentric has some wear to it, but I don't really know if it's enough to be a problem. How loose is this? Holy smokes. That's a lot of timing right there. And it's still got the nylon gear. It's not cracked that I can see. Whew, it's probably original, to be honest with you. It was ready to come out. But before I take any of this apart, it's very important to get this thing on top dead center. So that way when we put it back together, it's much easier to get it lined up. You can do it after the fact, but if you just go ahead and do it right now, it's a whole lot easier. Well, the crank is on top dead center. The dot is right there, and it's supposed to line up in between these teeth right here. You can see the little tab right there, except, well, look at this. I can't get the cam to sit exactly perfect, so I just lined this up as best as I could. When we get the new timing chain and gear and everything, it'll be a lot easier to see, but that goes to show you how worn out this thing was. Look at that. Both sides. I've seen them slop on one side pretty bad. If I tighten one side, look. That's what you call variable valve timing, folks. Look at that. Whew, that's bad. And it's amazing that this nylon gear, they usually break, especially when they get that much slop in them. Still got the factory oil slinger on it. That's pretty cool. All right, and there's the timing chain out. Now we just need to get this loose. Oh, that's a lot of movement on the crank there, folks. You hear that? Listen. Whew, it walks a little bit, as long as it holds together. There we are. Oh, there we go. Gotta be very gentle not to hurt any of the cam bearings. Rotate it just right. There we go. I'm hoping we don't have to pull the core support bracket out, but we're gonna try it. Oh, it's gonna be close. Oh, it's gonna be close. All right, I think we can get it if I take the cam gear back off. Oh yeah. Nice. There it is. Well, it's time to paint some stuff. And I'm going to be using Duplicolor engine primer and then Duplicolor Chrysler Red. Now, the original color for this engine in 1969 for a 318 was this nice and perfect red. So we're going to paint everything, make it look a whole lot nicer, because while you're at it, I mean, this whole car has turned into a while you're here, while you're at it, go ahead and do this thing. So that's exactly what we're doing. I hated to put a cam in it, do all this work to it, and not clean some stuff up and paint it. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna clean the intake, clean the timing cover, valve covers, all the pulleys, all the bracketry, everything, and then put it back together looking a little bit better than it did when we started. And there you have it. Intake is painted. We've got the timing cover looking nice and pretty. The valve covers are all done. Harmonic balancer done. And we're going to go over here and look at this. While I was waiting, I painted some of the bracketry, some of the pulleys, a little bit of black. And then underneath the hood, I went ahead and freshened it up with some paint. And it looks a lot better. We're going to have to go back and kind of touch it up around where the gaskets are going to go for the intake. But that looks mighty fine sitting in this really, really nice and originally clean engine bay. I'd hated to leave this alone because it was grimy and black, but it looks so much better. Now on top of that, we've got a cold case radiator sitting in its place. This is actually for a Challenger that I had left over from my Hemi build, and ended up using it for this because it had small block ports and it wouldn't work. So this works perfectly for our Barracuda. And with a little modification, it bolted right in, the hood shuts. So we're good to go. This is a Melling stock replacement camshaft. It is baby, basically. It's like 410, 420 lift, 210, 215 duration at 50. Not a lot going on here. I think the operating range was like 1200 to 4700. I mean, it's kind of weak, but you know, again, this thing's going exactly stock. We're wanting to leave it original. Okay, now we can slowly add more assembly lube as we go. You can do it all at once or whatever you want to do. I just like to do it as I go. Kind of keeps the mess down. We'll just wait till I push the rest of the in now. There we go. Oh, get in there. And the last set. All is well. It is currently in. Now we will take our cam bolt here, put red Loctite on it and torque it down because I don't want this bad boy backing out. But that looks a heck of a lot better than what we were dealing with. I feel wrong putting a 2-barrel back on this car. I was thinking about it, and I've never ever installed a 2-barrel intake on a small block Chrysler. I've always put 4 barrels, either replacing them or putting them back on. So it's funny how the tables have turned. This is heavy. Oh my gosh. Cast iron ain't no joke, I'll tell you that much. New water pump. Briar painted this one for us. Nice. Oh, that's coming together really good. Well, there she is. I think it's all said and done. We've got our distributor back in, plug wires, spark plugs, radiator hoses, the radiator itself. We've got all our belts and accessories on, carburetor, fuel lines, everything. We put 5 quarts of VR1 oil in it, thanks to Briar, with a cam zinc break-in additive. Got the carburetor bolted on, a fuel line running out here to our gas jug. This was a lot of work. Briar, this was your first ever cam swap. What'd you think?
That was rough.
A lot of rough stuff. What do you think was the hardest part?
Oh, the timing cover.
Yeah, these timing covers on these small blocks, they're just weird, and I had a time getting that thing set in there. That was the hardest part for some odd reason, but it went in, and I think we have everything lined up. I'm pretty proud about how this thing turned out. You know, once we clean up the engine bay itself, this thing's gonna pop. I mean, that Chrysler red sure does look good, and it's all original. Here we go. Oh, wow. Still a little noisy, but it's much better. That's much better, ain't it? It's not near as loud. No. Yeah, we've got good oil pressure. We're gonna let it sit here and just idle with the RPMs up, just kind of varying the RPM after a little while. Give it about good 10, 15 minutes of, you know, different RPMs. It's rattling a little bit, like it's shaking. I think that has to do with the carburetor. It did that before, didn't it? Yeah, so I think with a good carburetor rebuild or something, that would help. I don't see any leaks yet. Burning off some oil off the manifold. I think the thermostat is seeping a little bit. A little smoky in the shop. Burning off all that oil. It's the longest it's run in 30 years probably. It's about 2,000 right there. We'll dial it back a little bit. Dial it to about 1,200 for a couple minutes, 1,300. Woo, smoky. That's way better. That's so much quieter. I mean, it's a little bit rattly, but all the Chryslers I've ever dealt with had a little bit of valve train noise for the most part, just because of the nature of the beast, I guess you could say. It's just how it is. So it's been 4 minutes now. It's the longest 10 minutes of your life breaking in the cam, you know it? And the timing could be off too, so it might be, I just had it pretty much dead on. Oh, we got a plug wire off, that's why. Yeah, there it is. Still got a little tiny rattle to it, but that's much better than what we were. I'd say that's pretty normal. Smoking the shop out. I need a good fan in here. Dad showed up.
Sounds good.
Bring her back down. Just for a little bit, about 1,200 RPM. See, it's been 7 minutes. We've got good oil pressure last time I checked. Is it still good? Yep, still about a little above half.
Oh yeah.
Great. Showing about 1,200 RPM. Awesome.
It's brand new on the hood.
Yeah, it's much better. That fan's moving some air, ain't it? One more minute. All right, it's 240. That's 2 minutes at high RPM. See if it'll idle. That's dead silent.
That is quiet.
We did it. Oh, that's a lot of work, Briar, but we did it. How do you feel?
Relieved.
It could have been worse, but it could have been better.
Yeah, that is true. There's a lot of fights, a lot of effort, a lot of struggle. But that thing is quiet, which I still need to kind of sort out the timing, sort out a couple other odds and ends, but it's fairly smooth. And I think our carburetor might have a fuel delivery issue because I could see the RPM varying a lot. I think we got a broke-in cam right there. It's been about 10 minutes. We might go a little bit longer, but I want to check everything, shut it down, maybe make sure we got enough coolant in the engine, and then maybe do it for a little bit longer. So the coolant was good. No leaks that we can see right now. I'm just gonna see if it'll bump the key real quick and fire back up. Not even have to touch the gas. Listen how smooth that is. It's got a little bit of a peck to it, a little lifter tick, but that's fairly common, believe it or not, on these old Dodges. I'm very happy with that. Now we can move forward. Now that we know the engine's gonna be okay, we can finish up doing brakes, fuel system, all that good stuff, and feel confident about the rest of the car. Snappy. Things are looking weird for this car, to be honest with you. Seems like somebody along the way decided they wanted to play mechanic, and they goofed up a lot of stuff on this car. Mainly the brakes and a lot of the steering and suspension. To be such a nice car, somebody really goofed this thing up. We're gonna take the brakes off the front here and just see what do we have to work with. 2 different cut brake lines. We've got the steering box is completely worn out, and on the driver's side, the lower ball joint is completely loose. Like, why? They just didn't take it off and then parked it. I have no idea. Yeah, looks like somebody had just put shoes on it right before it got parked. I mean, they did a good job there, but for some reason, they just goofed it everywhere else. Wheel cylinders, brake hoses, that's really all that I think we're gonna have to do, but looks good. I'm happy with that. So we thought that it was gonna need front shocks, and we're right, but the shock is actually here. I thought that somebody had removed it. But what they did, they unbolted it and then let the shock collapse, and it's just sitting there. Again, they just kind of went around the car and disassembled stuff as they felt like. Who knows what the story on this car is. Looks can be deceiving, I'll put it that way. This car is going to need a whole lot more than what we're just doing right now. So I thought the wheel bearing was loose. Hear that? Look what it just did. Not even finger tight. Yeah, it coming right off. I don't know if you can see it or not, but the brake line been broken or cut or something, and the brake hose is completely gone. Yeah, same story. Looks fantastic in here. That makes me feel better. Shoes have plenty of life left in them, plenty of meat left on the drum itself. So when we were pulling this thing up on the lift, every time I'd cut it real hard, it would pop bad. And I could tell something was going on with the steering. And when we got it up on the lift, Briar noticed that the castle nut for the lower ball joint, well, that's not even on. Somebody started loosening it up, and for some reason they just stopped. It looks like it got stuck, and then they couldn't do anything. So they said, you know what, forget it. And I don't think they pulled the cotter pin out. It looks like it's still in there. That's part lower ball joint, part steering box that's giving all the trouble. You can hear that really loud popping. That's the steering box. Listen to that. That's not fun. So we're gonna have to replace a lot of this stuff. But anyway, we at least know what we're up against. Let's drop the car down and move to the back. It'd be nice if you would slide off. Oh.
There's nothing in here. Bet money. That helps a lot. Yeah, and then the main supply line going to the rear, it's been cut or pinched or something, so we have to replace that. Every bit of hardware, it's all gone. Please have something in here. Yeah, it'd be really nice. Oh, pretty good. Still got some good life left in them. I think they'll do just fine. This is weird. Why in the world is it missing everything? And the parking brake is hanging down on this side, or it's gone. The cable's missing from this side. Do some fixing here. And that sounds great, you know. That sounds really good. And we need 2 shocks for the rear because they've been unbolted and they're just dangling. Well, we're taking the steering box out because it is really, really worn out. We've got the column apart and we've got some of the bolts out of the box itself, all the hoses removed, but these tie rod ends have to come out, and then we have to get the pitman arm at least out of here. And I'm wondering, I'm hoping that this will actually come loose, but I've had trouble with them in the past. So we're gonna pickle fork this one out, and then box goes pew into space. There you go, nice work. Wow! I wasn't ready for that. I've usually had these suckers fight me, but that one just went like, it was spring loaded. I think we'll have to do it from the top side. You're mine now, please and thank you. Uh-oh. It's wedged in between the manifold and the inner fender right there. I mean, we might could take the motor mount and pick up the engine a little bit. That'd be easier than pulling the starter or pulling the manifold and the exhaust, because that is a nightmare. All right, hold it right there. That gave us about, what, 2 inches of room? Oh, it's so close. Come on. I believe in you. Oh, wait. Yeah! Woo! I don't know where to go. I can't jump. There we go. Sweet. Well, here's the old steering box, and the problem was this seal right here. Whatever's going on, it's loose, and really the box is probably, I'm a little worried that it might have a problem with it, and it needs to be rebuilt, but we don't have a lot of time, so we're going to actually get that one rebuilt and swap it out for one I already had rebuilt. This one was laying around in another cross member, and we will use it to put back in the car. I'll rebuild this old one and have it back on standby, but this should go back in the car no problem, and we'll be able to get this thing steering for once. Okay, it's gonna go like this. Well, heck, that wasn't so bad, was it? No. If I can keep from mashing my hand, we'll be good. Update, we have currently put the car back together. Briar put the steering column back in, and we got the steering box put back together. Briar also fixed this lower ball joint that it was loose, or I don't know why it was loose, but it's kind of concerning. And power steering pump's back on, battery tray, and everything's back together. So now we're going to see, will it run and actually turn? All right, we filled it up with fluid. Go ahead, Briar. Ooh. Go back the other way. That didn't sound good. Oh. Okay. Ooh, that sounds bad. Go back again. Oh yeah, that lower ball joint shot. Holy smokes, that's bad. Well, I guess we're taking it all back apart again. But the power steering works, so that's good.
Briar's putting on the new master cylinder. We've got all the new brake lines. I had to change one fitting. That was all. At least on this top side, you know, every other brake line exploded. But it's okay. Do you feel confident, Briar?
Yes, because we've redone the whole thing.
Dylan goofed pretty good. The torsion bar adjuster bolt snapped in half. So there's the other half to it. And what I ended up doing was going to the hardware store, finding the right thread for this nut. And I'm going to try and weld it on there and see if I can take it out. I mean, it wouldn't budge at all, and I should have just let it go, but I didn't. So I'm going to heat it really good, weld it, and all of this just to replace some dinky lower ball joints. You can't win. Cannot win. Now when stuff like this happens, I don't like putting sideways pressure like with the pry bar. So an impact usually is a better choice if you can. Except when it doesn't work. I didn't get any penetration on the welds. Let's try again. Oh. Ah. Dang. Let's try again. So this is number 4 attempt. On this one, I actually took one of these old bolts and ran the bolt in, which isn't a good thing, but it also made it move. So the fact that the stud moved in a direction tells me it's at least unlocked. And I turned the heat way up on this one. It's moving. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It worked. Hey, I pretty much made a new bolt. We could leave it, but I don't want to do that. But whew, I've got other bolts. I'll throw one back in here. But man, what a booger that one was. And there she is. Good as new. Okay, there's our new ball joint in place. I know it's hard to see, but it's in there. We've got everything bolted in. The cotter pin is in, and we are going the opposite direction now. Whew, what a booger this thing is to get. But while we're here, we can go ahead and throw some new shocks in it, but that's way, way better than what it was. We'll be able to put this thing back together. New ball joint on the old spindle, going right back in its place. Well, there you have it. We've got everything put back together. Briar's buttoning up a little bit of the grease fittings for the lower ball joints. And while we were here, we went ahead and threw in some KYB gas adjust shocks, and that'll make it ride down the road nice and smooth, but just have a firm feel. Love the KYBs. So there you go. You can see the ball joint in there. All said and done. Brakes are put back together. The only thing we're missing is this adjuster bolt. We're out here in the field of dreams, and this is a 67 Dart parts car that should have what we need. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. So I need to go the other way. It actually moved. Holy smokes. This thing's been sitting for 700 years. Why is this moving better than the one we were working on? Yes. Got it. It's like it never happened. So don't tell anybody we did this. Stand right there, let me make sure I can see you. Stand up. Well, we got a new gas tank. I'm gonna poke a hole and drain this bad boy. Ah, sounds empty. Well, she's empty. Oh. It broke in half.
Continue. There you go. There we go. Wow, trunk floor is really nice. Not a bit of rust. Still has the factory mat right here. Usually right here, it's completely rusted out. But this time, very nice car. Very, very rust free. Not too sure what the deal is or what happened if the rear end got replaced at some point. But if you look right here, the shock plate is pointing in the wrong direction. So the shock can't bolt up. So they're like, oh, what the heck happened? So what we're gonna have to do is loosen these up and rotate them 90 degrees so that way we can actually put new shocks in here. Well, let's be real. Whoever was working on this was having a hard time because not only did they do this sideways, they also forgot to put one of the bolts in. So it's a good thing we saw that because it had 3 of the 4 nuts on it. Like so. How wild is that? Go, go, go. Well, here's our fix. We've got an AMD reproduction fuel tank. The new sending unit, as you can see, we could only find a 3/8 with a return, so I had to plug that one off and then run an adapter to go from a 3/8 to a 5/16, but it'll work. And then we've got the new rubber grommet for the filler neck. Let's pop this thing in here and see how it looks. See a squat. Yeah. Oh, ah. There we go. Fuel tank's done. There's our sending unit. Everything's looking good. We're gonna fill it up with some fuel and hopefully it doesn't leak. I wanted to check the diff fluid. Oh, wow. That was in there, Brian. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah, it's probably never been took out.
It might not be. She's definitely a little low.
I haven't touched it yet.
Oh, good. Well, we'll just go ahead and throw some in there. Hey, it's low, Briar. Wow, it's still going.
Yes.
Dang. It's a good thing we checked this before we left. Oh, we've got to be close. Well, I just wanted to show you what all went into this car getting done. So we did upper ball joints, upper control arm bushings, lower ball joints, lower control arm bushings, new shocks, new brakes, brake hoses. Same thing on the other side. Got everything all brand new. And then you can see there's our new steering box in place. And then we had to install a new brake line going to the rear of the car. We also had to replace, I think, this brake line right here. Yeah, you can see the new one there. So that brake line, we move all the way to the back of the car. We had to do a brake line on this side right here. All new wheel cylinders. There's our new shocks. A lot of stuff went into this car, didn't it, Briar? But you can see how solid everything is up underneath here. The floors are nice. The frame rails are nice. I mean, this is going to be a really good car to road trip. Original exhaust, nothing crazy at all. But we did have to do a lot of work to this thing. But hopefully that basically saves us from any other problems. I don't know. We'll find out on the road, I guess. The last step of our process to make this thing run and drive was to add a transmission cooler because for some reason, when we pulled the radiator out, the cooler lines were snapped in half. So we went ahead and just added this in. So there's your transmission cooler all tied up in there real nice and neat. We've got our hoses running down to the cooler lines themselves and everything should be ready to go. And the transmission shouldn't overheat at this point. But that was the last step to get this thing off the lift. I cannot wait to take it outside. Fuel tank is in and done. Everything is tight. We've got all new rubber lines going right up to the engine. We've got a new fuel pump, brand new filter in place, totally empty. So we're gonna put 5 gallons in here, spin it over and see if we can get anything to go. And if it runs, it's actually gonna run on its own fuel supply. I also found why it wouldn't crank on the ignition switch. It turns out that the fusible link where it goes in between the firewall at the bulkhead connector was slightly loose. You could wiggle the wire and it would actually get power. So I cleaned it up, got a really good connection on it hopefully. So it should work at this point. So let's spin it over and see if it'll run on its own fuel supply. No fuel yet either. That was a lot. All right, go for it. We're getting fuel. Wow, it's dirty. Okay. There it is, running on its own fuel supply. Well, she needs a little more tuning, but I figured to inspire us, we could wash it. I'm not sure the last time this thing was washed, probably 1998. Ew! Dang! Gross. Look how dirty this car was. Wow. Wanted to see how it does.
We're gonna drive it work.
Long ways away. Well, this is the first drive since 1998.
2 years, I think.
Kind of a little foggy, aren't they? And it could be low on transmission fluid. Oh, we're smoking. Burning a little oil out the back. Oh, it's neutral. I don't want to go into second. I'm not going to turn around before we get too far. least reverse works. What's that sound? Is that the muffler rattling or something?
It could be.
It's got a pretty good low here. Oh, that's the speedometer, not the tag. Oh, my bad. Forgot. It stops enough. We need to work on that though. But it said we just did 40 miles an hour. And it didn't break down. So, should be able to make the trip now, I would think.
It's leaving. Ready to go.
So why such a big gap between all the work that we did and why is it taking so long for this car to actually hit the road? Now, way back in January of 2023, the plan was to make a quick turnaround for the car and send Dad on his way, but we were going to go to California. Now, if you've ever been out that way, you know it's quite a long drive to go from one side of the country to the other, and if you're just driving straight, you're looking at like at least a week's worth of driving. But the problem is if you really want to enjoy it, you really probably need at least about 10 days. Now, Dad, he works a full-time job, so he really couldn't just take off 10 days worth of work and really be able to use all that leave up. So we really just were trying to figure out how was the best way to figure this out, how are we gonna make this work? And then Troy and Tony reached out and said, hey, guess what? We're actually gonna have a car show at our Texas location, which is the one we're attending here at the end of this week. But the problem was that this was back in November of 2024. Weather caused a lot of problems. There was a big rainstorm that came through, so they had to postpone it. So that's why we're moving all the way into May of this year, where we're finally getting the car ready to go. And on top of all that, the car ended up having a lot of problems with it, as you could tell. Of course, it's not Mopart's 5150's fault because they bought the car as it is. And they really didn't know much about it as far as like what it really needed until we dove into it. But thankfully, seems like all these problems are sorted out. Now let's fast forward to the current day. Well, it's been probably a year since that last video clip. I explained just a second ago what happened, but the car is finally seems to be ready to go at this point. That last clip of driving, it didn't seem like it was idling very well, so we went ahead and got a reproduction carburetor and then swapped out the filter because the filter had a little trash in it, but that carburetor runs way better. So much better. And I wanted to try to see, does the car run better? Does it drive nicer? Does the transmission still have 3 gears in it? How are the brakes? We didn't really drive it much after the fact. So we said, you know what, we'll clean it up. We got the paint washed, but it needs a good buffing before we go. Went ahead and installed all of our original hubcaps. Are they my favorite? No. But they look the part because that's what came on the car. So I say, let's just go ahead and put some miles on it just before we have to go all the way to Texas with this car. Let's make sure that it actually can function. Do you think this thing will go all the way to Texas?
How many miles? You know, 700?
It's a lot.
I mean, the few times I've rode in it, it did fine. But that was like a mile and a half max. I hope it'll make it 700 something miles.
Plus, we rebuilt basically everything.
Is that good or bad?
I don't know. That's the problem. Most of the gauges work. We have an alternator gauge. Oil pressure gauge, it's kind of slow, but once it gets to where it's supposed to go, it's good. The temp gauge does work. It's kind of low right now just because it's cold. The fuel gauge is really the only thing that doesn't work. Speedometer, I don't know how accurate it is. We'll test it, but it does actually do things. But no horn.
At least it's comfortable.
It is very comfortable, but is it comfortable enough for that many miles?
We'll find out.
Yeah, we're gonna put that to the test. We're finally taking this car where it belongs. Finally. It's 2, totally fine.
Okay.
Interesting. What if the kickdown's not adjusted properly and it's mad? That was very strange.
Yeah, it was looking for it.
Yeah, we'll worry about that later. As of right now, though, we're doing 50 miles an hour in the car, arrow straight. We did go do an alignment, and neither one of us filmed it. I don't know how we missed that. We just totally forgot to do it. But we did the alignment ourselves, so you know that's going to chalk it up to really good quality. But it's driving straight, it's stopping straight. I mean, there's no vibrations or crazy just junk happening. I mean, the steering wheel is where it's supposed to be. I love try this from a dead stop. Let's just see what the heck just happened then. We're in drive. It's 2.
What the heck? It must have been stuck in between something, or
Maybe I had it slightly in neutral. I don't know. Now I know for a fact it's in drive. So we'll just have to remember that. Remember the very beginning when it wouldn't go into park?
yes.
So I wonder if the shifter linkage was slightly off. I mean, that's 55 right there according to the speedometer.
55, 54. Yeah, it's dead on.
Wow. That's a very, very nice ride. At 55 miles an hour.
It's smooth.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't know if we'll do interstate or what. We'll find out in the next video what we decide to do. But we might do interstate. We might do back roads. We got a whole day to get there.
It's so quiet. It's so odd. You can barely hear it
very
run.
Quiet. It is a strange experience not having a small block Chrysler just
Screaming at you.
obnoxiously loud. I mean, we can fix that if you want.
Real quick.
Yeah. I got a saw at the house. It's peppy. It's got plenty of get up.
Oh yeah.
Right there, that's 60 miles an hour.
You wouldn't even know.
No.
No, there's no way.
This is solid. Wow.
It floats.
Yes, it does. It turned out to be a lot better than we anticipated.
Yes. That does not feel like 65 at
It does not.
all.
65, yeah. We might need to verify that it's actually 65. I'll just start calling them out and you watch that. That's 30.
Yep.
They might update a little slow.
Yep.
There's 40. That's close. 45. 50. 55. That's 60. 65. Well, that's a little lower than 65. About 70. That's 70 right there. Oh yeah, that's right on the money. Wow. That's awesome. And the speedometer is not wobbling around or anything crazy either. That's smooth.
It'll do it.
That's comfortable.
I have no doubt.
No, that was awesome. That is a comfortable 60.
It doesn't feel like it's struggling at all. That's my favorite part. Blinker.
Oh, the blinker?
Yeah, I love when they do that. Gives me confirmation, you know.
Yeah, they'll let you know that things are working. Because the ones in the dash don't work. You need something. First thoughts?
This is nice. Very nice.
Think you could ride all the way to Texas?
It's comfortable in the front seat. I don't know how the back's gonna do it. Might be the best seat in the house. I don't know.
It very well might be. How long have we been driving it? Good 20 minutes or so?
Yes.
We still have good oil pressure, good temps, alternator's charging.
Everything's good.
Thought you might want to ride in your Chariot.
Hey, Brian. Hey.
We're going to be hanging out in here for the next 10 or 12 hours, so I figured you might want to get comfortable with it, get familiarized.
How long has it been since this car's been driven anymore?
1998. It's almost as long as I've been alive.
We've put 50 miles on, we're gonna drive it 700.
Yeah, we didn't even put 50 on it yet, I don't think, have we? That's the fun of it, though. You just gotta, hey, it runs, all right, let's go.
Mine's 5150.
How many miles is it?
650.
650 miles. You think you can do that?
Yeah.
This will be our view for a long time.
9.5 hours.
Ooh.
On a normal car.
Yeah. Great. We'll have some reading materials, at least for the trip. How to operate the car while we drive it. That's important to know.
We're leaving out Friday morning.
Friday morning, we got to get to the show Saturday. What's the verdict? What do you think?
I like it.
Feel good about it?
What if we get down there and want to buy it? We got to drive it back home.
I'm not opposed to it, but we'll have to gather up the funds. I'll let Briar do the money thing.
I don't know about that.
I wanted to just show all these things that we ended up doing. This is a list we made way back when we first started. So for the fuel tank and sending unit, replaced the hoses for the fuel line, filler neck grommet. We put a fuel pump on it and a carburetor. For the brakes, we had to do a few different brake lines I showed you. We had to replace a brake drum, front and rear wheel cylinders, brake hoses, and front and rear, I think that's what I wrote. Master cylinder, we had to replace hardware. Other things we did put tires on it. I think we didn't even show that. We put tires on the car. Let's go look at those real quick. I forgot about that. We mounted and balanced 4 hand-cooked 205/75 R14s, which is pretty much what it had on it when we got it in their stock sizes, so they work perfectly fine. We got the lights working. It was a missing ground. We put 4 shocks on it. The suspension has been rebuilt. We did an alignment. The ignition switch, I fixed that. That was that wire I showed you. Carpet, we'll just forget that was even there. We have to do an oil change. We may not have wipers. I don't know. We don't have a radio. The steering box was fixed. So everything is Donné. Whoa. Now this is only part 1. We've got a whole road trip to take care of. 650 miles from here in Tennessee all the way to Celeste, Texas. Now I'm going to put the flyer up right now for the American Steel Classics Car Show. It's Saturday, May 31st, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The address is 102 North 2nd Street, Celeste, Texas, 75423. It's Mopars 5150. If you're on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, YouTube, go check them out because they were kind enough to loan us this car and let me take my dad on a road trip. And that was just awesome. So thank you, Troy. Thank you, Tony. Thank you all the guys over at 5150 for allowing us to do this. We're going to see you guys this weekend. So if you're going to be tagging along, I hope to see you there. Let me know down in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on part 2 that's coming out next week. Hopefully I'll see you there in this car and we survive it. You think we'll be okay, Briar?
I think we'll do fine.
I like the confidence. I'll see you in the next one.